Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Iron Age Marketing. I am Nicky P, here as always. Today's guest, we have Jack Lloyd. How are we doing today, Jack?
Hey, Nicky, I'm doing great. I am currently thrilled with what's going on right now in the world. I really enjoyed G-1, that new Godzilla movie, and I enjoyed hearing that Javier Milei went and slashed half the agencies in Argentina. So those are two wins.
Well, you hope. I'm still hearing rumors that he's meeting with Biden and the Clintons and stuff, which just weirds me out. But, maybe he was just taking saxophone tips from Bill, in which case, So I'm glad you mentioned it, because I was going to point out, a lot of people are complaining, and you said, coming into this before we were on, this has been probably one of the best years you've ever had, just rocking and rolling. And so I'm glad to hear that. Is that translated into the business of creation for you this year?
Definitely. I've had a lot of great successes this past year in all kinds of business endeavors or things that we do with our publicity that involves fundraising. So we had a great start to the year. My wife and I were flown out to Washington for the LP Washington event there, where we got to do a little bit of headlining and musical performances, which was really cool. We got to go to porcfest and give some talks and do two musical performances, which was amazing, of course, to be up there in the mountains and it's beautiful out, and to be out with a bunch of people who really love liberty and be able to do some of our music was a lot of fun. I got to produce my latest nonfiction book, which is Philosophical Voluntaryism, and I was thrilled about that. Just because that kind of completes my primer trilogy of my nonfiction books, The Definitive Guide to Libertarian Voluntarism, A Vision for a Libertarian Future, and now Philosophical Voluntarism. I know it's a lot of words and a lot of syllables, but there's a lot of deep content in there, so it matches it. And we did a music video called Break the Great Reset, which we successfully funded and shot in downtown Tampa, and that was amazing. That came out beautifully, one of our best music videos. And right now, one of the big things we're working on is my comic book campaign, Voluntaryist Suit Saga 1, which is the second arc of the Voluntaryist comic series after the first one, which is Voluntaryist Origins. And right now, the campaign's sitting at 8.1K, which is 162% of our goal, with still 18 days left. And we haven't even done a live stream promotion, which normally is a big part of that, is doing some live stream games to help support, but we haven't even done that yet. So it's been a rocking year for our production and our music, our books, comics, all this good stuff. So I've been very thankful to everyone who's been a part of that and believed in us and grown with us as we've done higher and higher level production things. So.
Now, I'm curious, what have been the big changes, from this year to years past?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest change from a marketing, public relations, advertising standpoint is that I've gotten more aggressive about reaching out to potential supporters early. So one of the things that I would do in the past was I would be a little bit more passive with some of my outreach in some ways, whether it was running an ad on Facebook, that kind of thing, or just sharing some content. It was effective here and there, but not really as much as direct connections. And in my early days, I did a lot of direct outreach, but then because of certain metric issues with Facebook and how they changed things, it became very hard to do that as effectively. And some of the tools I had, got sunsetted. And so I was kind of in this lull between then and now, figuring out what's the best way to reach people, because I have all these different friends and fans over the years, but even people who actually would like to support don't get my content, right? They don't get it necessarily service to their feed just because they're friends with you on Facebook, even follow your page. The reach is horrific, and it's only gotten worse. And even though I played many games with the algorithms and tags and ways to do things and ways to hack around things, and I've been successful in those ways, of course, getting some things viral here and there, it's been brutal anytime it involves potentially fundraising or sales. So I had to just go back to the root and do direct messaging to people and really just let them know in advance. So a part of that was using Indiegogo's tools and other tools we have for collecting email addresses, like telling people, hey, we're going to be doing this thing coming up, direct messaging them, would you sign up for the email list? And of course, doing that, I got a bunch of people who were like, yeah, actually, I do want to know when that comes. And then even there, just because they're on the email list doesn't mean it necessarily reaches them, right? There's sometimes the issue that it can go to spam. Maybe their inbox had other priorities and they clicked it and then they forgot about it and it went to another page, whatever it is. There's lots of reasons why people don't follow up, even though they get on your email list. So looking through those and following up with people directly, messaging them and reminding them again, like, oh, hey, the campaign's going, we're doing all this other stuff. That was very successful for me, being able to reach out to people directly. And I think the personal touch there is very important because, people could spam message somebody. And I think how I qualify spam as opposed to personal messaging is, spam is just sent out with any particular individual touch to it without any opportunity to talk with the individual if they have follow-up, right? If it's just a message to them and then you just ignore them, well, that's where you get spammy. But for me, I directly message people and it's me doing it. It's not some bot. It's not someone over in India or in the Philippines. I'm the one doing it. And so when someone messages back, oh, hey, this was whatever's going on, I'm personally responding and letting them know what's going on. I'm, talking to them about what's going on with their life. And it's personal in that way because it's like, no, I really care about this and I'm personally letting you know. And I think that's kind of important these days because there's just so many different ways that people are being advertised to and emailed and all this other stuff. And with the algorithms on top of that, it's just very hard to get people's attention in the noise and in the cloud of things. And so personally, I've seen for myself being aggressive in, not an offensive way, just aggressively, consciously trying to reach out to people, get them, to join in on an email list or whatever, newsletter, whatever, then following them directly afterward. I think that's been very important. And I think that there will probably be even more as technology progresses, more need for alternative means to reach people, like personalized physical mail things and other types of ways that subvert the clutter that's an online advertising, and even with advertising that's done in a kind of boosted way, online, where you might boost a post or something like that, as opposed to just taking an ad.
When I first messaged you about this, you actually had said, at this point, I'm considering just sending out postcards again, old snail mail, because at least I know they'll get there in theory.
It's true. I am actually genuinely almost at that point now where I'm probably going to consider seriously doing that in the future, maybe making some type of voluntarist art card, like a cool postcard that makes you go, what's this, right? Because it looks cool, with some characters drawn this or that, and letting people know about a campaign, because in some ways that's going to be more readily received than just, I made a Facebook post and okay, 10 people saw it, right? That's where it's at for me. And I have a lot of different pages. I manage a lot of big pages, everything from a few thousand followers to over 100,000 followers. So I have pretty good dynamic range of seeing, what these types of reaches are, what kind of messages work, memes, other things, videos, across the board, because we create all kinds of content here. So it's just so hard to get people to commit, to buy in. And again, it's not necessarily because you even have a bad product or something like that. It's just that there's that much out there. And so you have to stick out and you have to really almost get in someone's face and be like, hey, by the way, check this out. I know you're busy. I know everything's going crazy, but check this out. I promise you're going to like it. So